Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. Let's start off today's show with something a little different. A quick little shout out to congratulate the winner, Hin Ting Chan, on successfully defending her WBA Asia light flyweight title by unanimous decision against Wasuta Shritidat. Fighting out of Thailand, and that fight actually took place in Thailand in Bangkok. And Chan is now 6-0. Congratulations. Let's move along to some headlines of relative importance. You might recall a few months or so ago, Mauricio Solomon called out judging with respect to having potentially 6 judges at the Tyson Fury Oleksandr Usyk fight, and that has now been rejected. And the only person to truly comment on this has been so far Bob Arum, Fury's co-promoter. Anyway, as I said, the proposal has been rejected due to fears over potential teething problems marring the biggest heavyweight fight in nearly 25 years. Said Bob, maybe 6 judges are better than 3. I doubt that, but maybe. Nobody knows because it has not been done before, but at least you experiment with that with fights that are not as prominent. Arum isn't completely against the idea, but believes it should be trialed out in a fight of significantly less magnitude. He said, with all due respect to my friend Mauricio, who is a really good guy, he loves the sport of boxing. He's done a great job with WBC. I wouldn't do it for this fight. I don't believe the judging becomes better because you have 6 judges rather than 3, he said, noting that the winner of the Fury Usyk battle will be crowned the first undisputed heavyweight champ in nearly 25 years, a title he believes Fury will win with ease. All right, let's move along to a show upcoming. There was a change in opponent for Peter Grail. The talented Liverpudlian Peter Grail will be looking to put on a boxing clinic on the seasoned live wire Mark Leach after being denied the chance to avenge his only loss against American Jericho O'Quinn. Last time out, McGrail was upset by the American super bantamweight prospect O'Quinn, and April 27th was supposed to be his shot at redeeming the blemish on his record. Instead, owing to personal family matters drawing O'Quinn from the ring, the former English and British super bantamweight champ Mark Leach will fill the void. And so they're set to go toe-to-toe very shortly. I'm just trying to see if this... on the Next Gen branded Matchroom card, a belt is also on the line, an IBF World Lightweight title. The Beast Beatriz Ferreira, a 4-0 fighter with a brilliant 101-9 amateur record, will have to throw down with South American lightweight and WBC Latino lightweight champion Yanina del Carmen Lascano. This will be an astonishing test for both women, placing amateur talent and pedigree against the raw experience of a professional who has already captured belts at a national level. This, arguably more so than the headline fight, will be one to watch, and certainly it will have the most stakes. Thanks very much for supporting the women. It's courtesy of Tommy Robbins, who's right on BoxingNews24.com. Good for him. Also on BoxingNews24.com, Ryan Garcia pushes Rolly Romero fight for Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia wants Devin Haney to fight Rolly next to rebuild his career after his narrow loss to him on their fight in Brooklyn, New York. Garcia sees a recently knocked out former WBA light welterweight champ Rolly Romero, 15-2, 13 knockout, is a good option for Haney to get back on the winning track. Ryan says he'll give Haney a rematch, but he wants to see him winning again. That idea is what promoter Floyd Mayweather Jr. has already suggested, wanting Haney, 31-1, to face Rolly next. It would be an interesting fight for fans, but Haney would likely have to vacate his WBC 140-pound belt to make it happen. Haney's WBC mandatory, as I said yesterday, is Sandor Martin, and it's unlikely the sanctioning body will allow him to put him on hold yet again to take another fight without a step-aside deal. But in terms of money to be made, Rolly is an excellent fight for Haney to get some cash before fighting a rematch with Ryan Garcia. Also, vacating the WBC title would allow Haney to fight Rolly or anyone he wants, and he'd make more money than he would fighting Sandor Martin to satisfy his mandatory commitment with the sanctioning body. Garcia will take some major roasting from fans if he fights Rolly, uh, but it's better for him to deal than fighting Sandor for little and losing money. Let's move along to good old Errol Spence and his complications, shall we say. So it's been reported how Errol Spence and his former 11 years long trainer, Derrick James, are engaged in a nasty lawsuit heading to the courts. James, who worked with Spence until his stoppage defeat at the hands of Terence Crawford last July, is apparently suing Spence for unpaid monies, with the James legal team reportedly asking for not less than $25 million. Spence has fired back with a suit of his own, as is the way things are done in the United States. Not getting into the numbers and the legal stuff, this one is totally a sad state of affairs. James gave so much to Spence, while Spence seemed to thrive under James, the two having a great working relationship. But it seems that old adage, money is the root of all evil, that's a paraphrase, but anyway, has reared its ugly head once again. The fighter and trainer will now duke it out in the courtroom. Who knows who Spence will hire as his new trainer, or if and when he will box again. But added to the story is the fact that Ryan Garcia, who of course now works with James, had fired shots at Spence, saying on social media he will now look to beat up Spence and then knock him out. It seems we could have a teal and a genuine grudge match here if this fight actually comes off. Just as an add-on to that particular story over in yardbarker.com, I see that Derrick James has sued Errol Spence Jr. for breach of contract relating to unpaid wages, as I just said. The two no longer work together after Spence parted ways following his loss to Terence Crawford. Spence was dropped 3 times before getting stopped in round number 9. James was criticized for not doing enough in the corner as Crawford became the first undisputed welterweight champion of the 4-belt era. James was working alongside Anthony Joshua and Ryan Garcia, indicating he could not give Spence his full attention these days. The rematch with Crawford never happened, as James and Spence went their separate ways. Now, it appears that disharmony has continued. The trainer filed a lawsuit on April 17th in Texas, demanding damages of at least $5 million, it is reported here. Spence responded with a countersuit. The lawsuit alleges James found Spence's breach of contract, fraudulent business practices, and misrepresentations after Spence received the $25 million guaranteed fight purse for the Crawford fight. It's alleged James was only paid $350,000. However, James's camp states he was entitled to 10% of total revenue from the fight purse and pay-per-view money. Spence states there was a conversation between him and James. It happened on February 13th, claiming he told James he was not entitled to receive 10% of his guaranteed purse. Spence asserted someone named Al told him that paying James $350,000 for the Crawford fight in exchange for his training services was generous. James's attorney stated no one named Al was present when James and Spence originally entered into their agreement. Any alleged reliance by Spence on advice from someone named Al regarding James' compensation is misplaced. The lawsuit states Spence told James in a February 15 phone call that he did rob James. He also allegedly said in a text message that he wanted to own up to his own, up and pay James the remaining $2.15 million that kept up with their verbal agreement. The money never came, as both sides are now in court. Spence, by the way, has yet to comment on this publicly. However, that has not gone down well with Spence's former stablemate, Ryan Garcia. The fighter has confirmed these reports, stating that Spence has not stopped James. Following Garcia's win over Devin Haney, he called out Spence, stating that he wanted to fight him at 147. There's a narrative for that fight that happens as they both train together and are fully aware of each other's game. The fight would generate a big audience now that Garcia is seen as the face of boxing, since Spence is looking to get back into big-time boxing following that one-sided loss to Crawford. There is a chance it could happen. Spence is currently looking for a new trainer and opponent, with Garcia eyeing Spence. Well, there you go. Thanks for joining me, boxing fans. I appreciate it. Here on Talkin Fight. Join me anytime, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you again.